Record button in my thingy.
There it is.
There. Hello and welcome. My name is Livia Kohn. I'm the executive editor of Three Pines Press, and we have a new project that is coming out in early January. It is the first of a 3-volume series on questions of time in Taoism, and the series was sponsored and inspired by an International Daoist Conference on the topic of time, and that was held in June of 2019 in Los Angeles. And so the first volume of this 3-volume series is coming out. It is called Tao and Time, Classical Philosophy. And we're very happy today to have our speaker here, who is one of our contributors. And this is Dr. Shuwen Wang. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Livia. Thank you very much to have me here. I'm very pleased to be here.
Excellent. And so, Professor Wang, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what is your background? What was your training? And how did you get interested in Daoist philosophy?
Okay, gladly. Hello, everyone. I'm Shuwen Wang. I'm originally from Sichuan in China. And I was working in a university before I started my PhD. But during that time, I was not very happy. And I started to look around people around me. I feel that they were not very, most of them were under big stress. That's the point I started to wonder, what is the problem? And then I found like, maybe I should study philosophy to solve this or give me an answer of these problems. That's why I started looking at Daoism, and I found Zhuangzi, this philosopher which I love the most. And then I decided to go to Thailand and to start my PhD and doing my research on Zhuangzi's philosophy.
That's excellent, good. And you graduated just recently, and then now you live in the United States, is that right?
Yes, I graduated in the beginning of this year, and after I graduated, I moved here in upstate New York, and I'm currently working as a freelancer scholar. So that's about my life right now.
Oh, that's very good. Okay, excellent. So can you tell us a little bit about what exactly in the Zhuangzi, what aspect of Zhuangzi you find the most fascinating?
I studied the question in my research, which is what is the true reality according to Zhuangzi. And my topic of dissertation is understanding Zhuangzi's oneness through the concept of Shu. And because according to Zhuangzi, the true reality is the oneness. It's not just a limited perspective of things.
Oh, that's fascinating. So the sense of oneness is like, it's not identity, but it's like a unity, or so how would you describe this oneness?
It's kind of a sense of unity. In the philosophy of Zhuangzi, it talks about, basically it is talking about how the material aspect and the non-material aspect are collected as one. And so for common people, we only take a limited perspective, which we can see, we can touch, we can acquire as real. But Zhuangzi was talking about the ultimate reality, which is the reality according to Tao, which is Tao is the metaphysical principle of all existence, and that's the concept of oneness come from.
And then this particular oneness is also, it's not just a theoretical concept, but it has an impact on your actual life. So when you in the presentation in our book, excuse me, your main focus is on the self. And so you distinguish different levels of self. And so the self and time have a certain relationship to this oneness.
Yes, sure. Because I found like why people like common people cannot see the bigger picture of oneness. It's mainly because we have this belief of self. We believe that we have a self, and which is a limited and static point of view, which will block us to see the ultimate reality, which is the oneness. So that's my major focus in my dissertation, to examine the concept of self, and through examining the concept of self, we can understand the ultimate picture of oneness.
Very good. And then within the oneness also, there are different levels of time. And so you're distinguishing like a more cosmic level and a more concrete level of time. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. Yes, according to Zhuangzi's philosophy, there he talks about different dimensions of time, which he talks about Zhou. It's a it's a time concept. We can call it like a space time, and he was also talking about seasonal time, but his major concern still more related to self, which is it's related to the physical world. Is that time always relative, and this time concept actually is kind of how to say aware. It's people's awareness of time. So through discussing the different layers of selves, and we can know the different concept of time.
Right. And so the idea is that people need to understand that time is very much like a construction, like a construct of the self. So it's something that sort of flows and you're experiencing it, but it's also extremely subjective.
Yes, yes, it is. In Zhuangzi's, there's a story in Zhuangzi's philosophy, which is the story of seed and forget. In this story, he talks about different layers of self. I summarized the different layers, like the physical self, the cognitive self. The physical self is kind of easy to understand because we have this physical body. We always identify ourselves as our physical body, and the cognitive self is actually the we identify ourselves as our thoughts, as our knowledges, but this is not real. The problem is, as long as we identify our self as our physical body, the physical self, and then we have awareness of life and death, because everybody is going to die. So we have this, and we tend to use our lifespan to measure time. But then the problem is the time concept cannot be absolutely real, because between different species, the lifespan are always different. So how can you get an absolute time concept? So this is one point Zhuangzi talk about. And then another one is the cognitive self. Again, because we have our thoughts, we have our way of defining things, but we only have confined, we only have limited perspective. So actually people are confined by our own limited perspective to look at things, to look at time. So we use this cognitive self to shape the time view, which a simple example is we make distinctions, like we make distinctions among past, present, and future, which is actually relative to space. as we all know that the Chinese time is different from American time. Where, right now it's like November 13th, but in China it's already November 14th. So how come time can be absolute? So in that sense, time is not absolutely real as well. The other layer Zhuangzi talk about, I mean the self, uh, the third layer John's talk about is the behavior self. And behavior self is actually when people identify um, our emotions, our behaviors as ourself, as real. And this kind of self actually enhance the feeling of losing time, or the feeling of losing things, which cause a lot of stress, anxieties, and sufferings for people. So these
Okay.
are the different layers of selves, and which also constructed the different concept of time.
Yeah, okay, that's all very fascinating. And it all gets resolved into some kind of a more universal self that is more fluid and that connects to the universe, which of course is one of the key aspects of Taoism, is to relate the heavenly dimensions and the cosmic dimensions in a very practical way into your own life. And so the article in the book talks more about the details of those different levels of self and how time plays out in the Zhuangzi in relation to those levels of self, and then also gives a resolution of this. So we're very happy that you've had the ability to contribute to this work, and we recommend everybody come to our website, which is threepinespress.com, and check out the book. There's a lot of detailed information on the website, and you can also order it. So again, this is Tao and Time, Classical Philosophy, and you'll find it on threepinespress.com. And thank you again, Professor Wang, for this lovely interview.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.